Hello, welcome back to Reflect and Connect number 3. So, we start off again with just isolating both the left and right hand when it comes to teaching a string instrument, because again, all of it combined together is very complex for a beginner. So, first, like teaching them how to hold their instrument properly and playing position, then rest position, and then just moving on to the bow hold afterwards. And one of the pedagogies that is mentioned is just about, like, for example, using a pencil for your students and demonstrating to them, bunny, like, bunny ears are flopping, and it's like biting a carrot. But yeah, could also, and it also goes into like the differences between violin and viola, how they have it up here, while cellist has it relaxed all like this. While bass are also similar, but sometimes they have like the German bow that's kind of resembles exactly like this. It's probably more better to show the actual bow, but yeah, but mm, so I guess one of the new pedagogies that I've learned in this chapter was just like, when teaching your students how the bow hold is supposed to look like having them pretend it's like this little gap here between the long finger and thumb is like a telescope, and asking them if they could look through that little telescope, which is something completely new to me. I'm like, that's something I could use for the future. But let's see. Yeah, and the pencil is a very valuable thing because um, the bow itself is very heavy for a beginner. So a pencil is very light, and it's just demonstrating the bow arm and yeah. But what it says when moving into the bow is to then have the students practice their bow hand on the balance point of the bow, because it's less heavy on the balance point. If they practice it here, this is it's gonna be too heavy here, and then here is gonna go down here. So finding the balance point, but also using both hands so that you could, I guess, connect that to when they actually have an instrument. And when they have an instrument, all the weight goes into the instrument, so they don't have to lift up their hand. So it's a good way of like putting both concepts together. And I guess one question I have for Professor Webb is, we talk about like explaining to our students the three, I guess, sound production variables. Variables. I'm so sorry. Variables. And my question to you, Webb, is like, you've seen me teach or attempt to teach, and when it comes to showing these concepts to students, how do I refrain from actually giving them too much information, and just because I feel like you know when introducing the bow into the actual string, one thing I would want my students to do is make sure that they all are in the middle of the bow, and then seeing what happens after that. If like then explaining, all right, we're gonna play here because it gives us a loud sound, and it resonates or whatever. But and then showing them, if you play here, it's gonna be harder, and you're gonna play sometimes two strings, and it's not, the sound isn't beautiful. So is it just like seeing where your students are at and just making a judgment call, and then being like, okay, I have to explain this to them and just show them, or have them, figure it out themselves? But yeah.